Most new businesses fail within the first 2 years. So when you find any company that's been around for 10, 20, or 30 years, there's probably something we can learn from them. Well, we found a company that's been around a lot longer than that. Hi, I'm Janice Marie for Close Up on America's Business, and we're here today in Midtown Manhattan at the offices of J.S. Mitchell & Sons. They're a commercial contracting and construction management firm that's been in business since 1888, almost 120 years. With longevity like that, we figure there's got to be some secret to that kind of success. So we're here today to find out what it is.
J.S. Mitchell & Sons is, as it's known in the industry today, a construction manager. We are general contractors. We are consultants. But what I like to The way I like to think of us, we are builders. This is a company that was established 3 generations ago, and at that time, none of these terms were ever used. They were known as builders, and to this day, that's what we like to consider ourselves to be.
Do you do both commercial and residential, or strictly commercial?
No, we're based in the city, and certainly the commercial side is what we concentrate on here in the city.
Can you give us an example of some of the buildings around the city that you've worked on that we might recognize?
My great-grandfather, who founded the company and came over from England in 1888, he was more into real estate, and you'll see a variety of brownstones throughout the city that he built and are still standing today. My grandfather, Joseph Mitchell, he was responsible for the restoration of St. Patrick's Cathedral, which I'm sure we all know and can visit today and see his work. My father, James Stanley Mitchell, he was responsible for, among other things, the construction of Yankee Stadium for the arrival of the Pope, not the construction of the stadium, but the development of the stadium for the arrival of the Pope back in 1979. And amongst other projects that my brother and I are working on at the moment, the restoration, again, of St. John the Divine Cathedral, which you may remember was devastated by fire about 5 years ago. So we are reconstructing the cathedral. And we are also currently building the first Buddhist temple in the United States in Flushing. That will be completed in about 3 years.
Certainly there are a lot of contractors and construction managers to choose from, so why you? Why J.S. Mitchell & Sons?
I think you're going to find that you'll hire us once, you'll hire us twice, and then you're never going to want to leave us, because it's someone you can count on day in and day out, job to job, and we'll be there as long as you want us to be.
There's something that only time can give us, and you've been in business for so long. What has that time given you that you can pass on to your clients?
There's not a college curriculum that teaches you construction. There's architecture, there's engineering, but construction is not the same. It is an acquired taste, if you will, an acquired knowledge. And it only comes through doing it and through experience. The people that work here, the minimum tenure is 5 years. We have people here that have worked here for 30 years, for 20 years, for 25 years. It is the longevity of the people that ensure things get done properly, and their experience.
It's extremely rare that any company can boast the kind of longevity that J.S. Mitchell & Sons has had. To what do you attribute that kind of extraordinary success?
Well, it's a philosophy that's been passed on from generation to generation, and our clients are reminded of it every day they look at our letterhead, integrity in construction, since 1888. We've been taught over the years that above and beyond everything you do, you have got to treat your clients fairly and honestly. And once you know what you're doing and have the right people in place, if you follow that philosophy, like we have, you'll be successful. The people that, the generations have, it's always been apparent that they love what they do. And I couldn't be more fortunate to have been brought into this business. I recall my father calling me after I'd come out of school, and he said, "Are you planning on joining us here?" And I had my reservations at the time. And I couldn't be happier with my decision, because it's a fascinating business. It's a fascinating industry. And as an owner, you wear an awful lot of hats, and you learn an awful lot about the world. And I, like my predecessors, love the business.
With a rich history that spans nearly 120 years and a family-owned business that's built its success on honesty and integrity, it's easy to see why people place their trust in J.S. Mitchell & Sons. Reporting from Midtown Manhattan for Close Up on America's Business, I'm Janice Marie.